Title: She texted, "I pawned your Rolex to pay for my student loan payment. You can buy another one. The watch my deceased father left me." I replied, "Thanks for letting me know." Start: She texted me on a Tuesday morning, "I pawned your Rolex to pay for my student loan payment. You can buy another one." Just like that. No apology, no hesitation, just entitlement typed in blue bubbles. The Rolex wasn't just a watch, it was my father's, the one he wore every day until his last breath. The one he gave me in his will with a note that read, "Time will test everything, son." I guess he was right. I stared at the message for a long time, thumb hovering over the keyboard. My chest was hollow, but my pulse was steady. My grief turned into something colder, something sharper. I finally replied, "Thanks for letting me know." And then I called my lawyer. We had been together for 3 years. She was everything people said I needed: brilliant, ambitious, with a smile that made rooms quieter. I believed in her, supported her through grad school, helped her pay rent when she was between jobs. I trusted her with keys, passwords, and access, things I never gave easily. When my father died, she held me through the funeral. She helped me clean out his things. She saw the watch. She said, "It's beautiful. He must have been proud of you." I remember the way her eyes lingered on it a moment too long. Back then, I thought it was admiration. Now, I know it was calculation. The first sign came months later: little financial inconsistencies, missing cash, small transfers. I confronted her once. She laughed it off, kissed me, and said, "You're too serious about money." I wanted to believe her, so I did, until that text. The Rolex had been kept in a locked drawer, not for security, but for sentiment. When she pawned it, she crossed from selfish to criminal, and that's when I crossed from forgiving to methodical. I didn't confront her, I didn't yell, I didn't beg. Instead, I documented everything. Screenshots of her text, photos of the empty drawer, the pawn shop receipt she had carelessly left in the trash with her signature at the bottom. Then I called the police. Calmly, clearly, no emotion, no hesitation. I filed a report for grand theft. The detective assigned to the case was skeptical at first. "You sure you want to go through with this? She's your girlfriend." I met his gaze and said, "Not anymore." She didn't know anything, not yet. We still had dinner together, we still texted. She even slept in my bed that week, smiling like she hadn't dismantled the last thing that tied me to my father. That's the thing about people like her. They believe silence means forgiveness. I let her think she'd won, but I was preparing a different ending. The detective called a week later. "We have enough to move forward." They waited for the right time, a public place, minimal resistance. I told them she'd be at her mother's birthday dinner that Saturday at a nice restaurant downtown. Perfect. Saturday came. I dressed well, calm, detached. I arrived 10 minutes after her. She was at the center of the table, laughing, wine glass in hand, performing like she always did. She didn't see me at first. Then the detectives walked in, 2 of them, plain clothes, badges flashing in the dim restaurant light. They approached the table quietly. "Are you her full name?" Her laughter died mid-sentence. "Yes, why?" "You're under arrest for grand theft." The entire table froze. Her mother's smile collapsed. Her friends whispered.
And then she saw me, standing near the bar. Our eyes met. No words, just the recognition of checkmate. She tried to talk her way out of it. Of course she did. "It's a misunderstanding. He said I could sell it." The detective looked at me. I simply handed him a printed copy of her text message, her own confession. Her face drained of color. They cuffed her right there, in front of her family, her friends, everyone she ever wanted to impress. She turned toward me, eyes pleading. "Please, can we talk?" I tilted my head slightly. "We already did." They walked her out as her mother cried. I watched until she was gone. Later that night, the detective called. "We recovered the Rolex. It was still at the pawn shop. You can pick it up next week." I thanked him and ended the call. Then I poured myself a drink and placed my father's note on the table. "Time will test everything, son." It had. I saw her once more, weeks later, in court. Her lawyer tried to argue emotional distress, financial desperation, anything that would make her look like a victim. But the evidence was too clean, too deliberate. She pled guilty. When the judge read the sentence, probation, community service, a record that would follow her forever, she looked at me again. I didn't smile. I didn't need to. She knew what she'd lost. Not just the watch, not just her reputation, but the illusion that she could manipulate me and walk away unscathed. After the hearing, I retrieved the Rolex. The clerk handed it to me wrapped in brown paper. I unwrapped it slowly, tracing the scratches on the metal, the weight of time and memory. I set it on my wrist again, where it belonged. It ticked softly, steady, indifferent. My reflection in its glass was older, colder. I realized revenge wasn't about rage. It was about restoration, about balance, about proving to myself that my trust had value and my silence had teeth. I didn't destroy her life. I just let the truth do its work. The law finished what betrayal began. That night, I walked through my father's old study. The air smelled faintly of cedar and dust. His photo watched me from the desk. "I did what you taught me," I whispered. He didn't answer, of course, but in the ticking of the watch, I heard it anyway. Approval, faint and steady. Some people think revenge is messy. It doesn't have to be. You don't need fire to burn someone. Sometimes all it takes is silence, evidence, and perfect timing. And time, well, that's always on my side.